No, it was just a thicker piece of meat. That's all it was compared to the other breasts. It was like fully thick all the way around, where the other ones were kind of like thin and got like a little wider, you know? I see you holding back your smile, but hey, just a little bit.
Yep, not saying anything, not talking about breast size or anything.
Oh, are we the CBS Golazo cast now talking about breast?
What is that? I don't get that.
Oh, you don't know that? Okay, so CBS Golazo is the essentially like the desk for the Champions League, very much like how the NBA on TNT is for
Yeah.
the NBA, like Charles and all of them. So they have a
Yeah.
similar cast of characters, basically. And this year in the Champions League, there was a team called Brest. And Big Meeks, I don't know his actual name, but I know his nickname is Big Meeks. He would make all of the jokes possible about breasts. He goes, I love breasts, and you know all those other things in his British accent. And they would joke about it. And then the one episode, the host, she goes, now, Big Meeks, you cannot talk during this segment. Like the producers, the director, like everybody is asked, like, you cannot say anything further because we're about to talk about breast. We're going to have a serious conversation about this team because they're actually performing very well in the Champions League. Like they're going to make it to the knockout stages and all this other stuff. Like, and we truly, we can't just have you talk anymore. You only make jokes, and we're trying to have a serious conversation about this team that's deserving of our full attention, basically. And he's like, okay, fine, I won't say anything. And then they just hit him with joke after joke after joke, and he's sitting there like squirming, you know, he can't say anything, and he's like, you're clearly setting me up right now. So
that's
yeah.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Breast.
That's as good an opener as we'll get, I think.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Well, with that, welcome back to the Backmarkers F1 pod, the latest and greatest pod that no one really asked for. But we have our Canadian Grand Prix debrief here. We had some more fireworks.
Yeah, like almost like we kind of expected it. It's almost like somebody laid the groundwork for the fireworks to happen.
Yeah, that was, I mean, we knew that was going to happen, but literally they asked Lando about it this week. Yeah, something's going to happen eventually. There you go. I mean, not even like a minute later, it's happening.
So
the only quicker firework was Joseph Newgarden's flipping on his head as they were cutting the commercial break.
That was hilarious. And it was like a promo about him that they were doing, and then boom, he's upside down.
He was leading the race. They were cutting the commercial like, look at Joseph, look at Joseph. Oh shit, what happened? He's on his head.
Yeah, that was wild. I saw that clip and I was like, and then I don't know. It was kind of a crazy crash that he basically picked the direction that the other car was going in. But
yeah,
that's why ovals are cool, I guess.
Yeah, that one was wild. They threw the caution late because like he was on like the other side of the turn, but as that guy had already wrecked, like he was already out, but he stayed up on the wall, right? And then he starts coming down, and they just didn't throw the yellow early enough because he was trying to make the pass on the guy to lap another car because he was absolutely crushing the race. And then, yeah, next thing you know, he's on his head.
Damn, that's tough.
Well, there's your IndyCar talk for the week.
There we go. Good job, us, recounting other motorsports. Also, yes. Wait, hold up. Can we give a quick shout out to Ferrari for their 24 Hours of Le Mans victory?
Absolutely.
Can we give a quick shout out to Robert Kubica?
Yes.
For winning the 24 Hours of Le Mans. That is absolutely awesome.
I had a quick question about that, actually, because during the broadcast, because I actually did watch the last 15 minutes of the race. I saw nothing else before that, but I did see that. On the broadcast, they were saying that he was the second, like, Formula One driver to win the race, which I thought was weird because I'm like, I know Antonio Giovinazzi won 2 years ago, but I don't think he was the lead driver. So when they say, like, a driver won, is that, like, classified to the lead driver primarily? Do you know how that works?
Not a clue. No.
Fair
Honestly,
enough.
No idea. It would be disingenuous and wrong of me to do wild speculation. But if we are going to do that, I think it must be. because
or
like
at least
I don't
the
know, I
driver
always
who
thought it
takes
was a
the
team
checkered
win.
flag, right?
Yeah, I
I
always
don't
thought it
know.
would be a team win. So I don't know how that necessarily works because Alonso won the 24 hours
Mhm.
of Le Mans with Alpine or Toyota. Toyota.
Yeah, I think so.
Um,
Juan Pablo Montoya's one. Like,
yeah,
there's been several
other
of
guys have
them.
done it. Yeah.
So my only thought was like, is it the person who takes the checkered flag? Is that's the one who they
They
consider? I don't
also
know.
they also could have been talking about his class, right? For whatever series that they were in or class they were in or overall victory or whatever. They could have been talking about that. I have no idea.
Fair enough. But yeah, shout out Robert Kubica. Because I think the other thing they were saying on the broadcast was Ferrari asked them to not win the race. Because they weren't
Really?
like the main
Oh yeah, they
Ferrari
were.
team. They're AF
Yeah.
Corsa only,
Mhm.
rather than like Ferrari AF Corsa or whatever, just driving a Ferrari car. But yeah, they at some point earlier, I couldn't tell you when, Ferrari had asked them, that team, hey, move aside for our team. And they said, no. So
That rocks. Hell
that's,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're like, no, we have a fantastic car. We're winning. We don't have to follow your team orders. It's our fucking team. It's out of the generosity of our heart. No, we're trying to go for glory. And I appreciate that.
There we go. We gotta love it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Le Mans was cool. I didn't see much else. I don't know if there were a bunch of like accidents or crashes or anything like that, but hey.
There were a couple. I saw somebody had a loose wheel that I think it was Magnussen had.
Mm.
Um, and then somebody else like had to steer out of the way from it, and that's always fun. But other than that, yeah, I watched about an hour and a half of it, like late in the night for our time, early in the morning France time.
Did you get the sunrise then as they were driving or no?
Missed the sunrise, unfortunately. I
I
was
know you love that.
about nothing like the sound of big engines.
Mm-hmm.
Birds chirping and big engines.
Agreed with that. That's a good combo right there. Good 1-2 to wake up the day.
Oh yeah, or be awake for in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
But yeah, I missed that. I saw a little bit of the later morning run, and yeah, really enjoyed it. So
very much, very much. Well, yeah. Hey, that's a good little. We do a little bit of all the motorsports here. But what do you say we get back to some of this? We are worldly in a worldwide sport. We're there's some other networks that claim to be the worldwide sports leaders, but they don't really focus on much of the worldwide sports like we do.
It's more about highlights. It's more about replaying the same hour-long program every 24 hours. But they've got more money than we do, so
just a little bit. I'd say just a little bit more. They got a few extra zeros behind whatever they got coming in.
They also have to follow Disney rules, and fuck that.
Yeah, we don't. No, fuck the mouse.
Dude, he'll come after you.
He will. I rescind that mouse. I'm sorry.
He will shoot you in the head.
Have you ever seen that Goofy video?
Hell
yeah.
We'll fucking do it again.
I'll fucking do it again. Oh god, so good. I love random YouTube videos.
Oh my god. Now I'm thinking about Vine. I miss Vine.
Do it for the Vine.
Look at all of those chickens.
Oh, so good. You're no good, duck.
All right, this is gonna be a.
We're off the rails early on this one.
There we go. So
back on track though? Yes.
Yeah. What did you think of the Canadian Grand Prix?
Fireworks late. Prior to it was, I felt like the teams I shouldn't say the teams. Prior to that, it felt like McLaren and Ferrari were hoping, let's go long here a little bit. Let's see if a safety car can come out or something will happen where, we can take advantage of going longer than the early front runners, basically, and all that. Obviously, it didn't come until the very end, but I mean, great race. We had a new winner. Kimi's on the podium. McLaren wasn't really in it for the most part. Like they were there, but they weren't really right there. Lewis with a great drive with damage on his car. Poor groundhog. Poor grip.
Poor groundhog.
Yeah. So, but I mean, obviously he was distraught about that in his post race. But I mean, Fernando got points again. Like there was a bunch of fun stuff that actually happened in this race. So that was very cool to see. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I had a long weekend with Father's Day activities. So we were out late on Saturday, early Sunday with lunch and stuff. Came back to watch the race, and I actually had to pause it at like lap 20 because I was nodding, and it wasn't because of the race. It was more just I am exhausted right now. Set the timer for 15 minutes. Actually woke up at the 15-minute mark and was like, I'm good to go. Let's finish this damn thing now. So it's a little delayed in watching it, but it all worked out at the end, I would say.
No, I feel you. I was out also having some family activity. Came home, and I started it right when I got home. I finished it by midnight. It was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you had a late night then watching.
Yeah, it was
That's
tough.
that's the problem with like being a Formula One fan in the States is like we've talked about it. We love the European leg because it's like a 9 a.m. start on a Sunday. There's not
Oh
really
yeah.
expectations for you to like go do stuff with people at that point in
Mm-hmm.
time. So it's like you can get up, you can watch it, you can go, finish the race, and then still got the whole day ahead of you at that point in time. Like it finishes before NFL kickoff would even start, which is cool during once we get into football season. But when you're here stateside, Eastern time zones, any of these like, Western hemisphere stuff, you get the 2 p.m., 3 p.m., maybe a 4 p.m. start, and people are like, hey, we're doing stuff on Sunday. Oh, I want to watch a race. That's not really as good of an excuse over here as it might be in some other parts of the world.
Oh no, I
So
still give people
you
that
got
excuse. I'll be like, "Hey, I'm watching Formula One. You want to watch it?" They're like, "No," and I'm like, "All right, fuck off. I'm not gonna see you."
right.
There we go. Simple as that. You've made your choice. I've made mine.
Yes, and we'll go our separate ways here at this point. But yeah, when the
Exactly.
Father's Day and like the family stuff starts to get into play, it's like, hey, can we turn the race on? Like if I'm hosting, it's on. If I'm not hosting, that's gonna be a little bit of a harder argument for me to get that thing going.
Yeah. No, it was like when I went to my brother's house. He was playing Steely Dan. I was like, "All right, there we go.
Mhm.
It's a choice. It's not what I would have pulled, but still pretty good."
It's your house.
Yeah. No, and this is not to slander Steely Dan at all. Like great musicians, great band, but
Mhm.
all right, okay, okay. It's a choice.
It is a
So
choice. That is true. What do you think of the race overall then?
fucking banger.
Hmm.
Really good. Honestly, like I was pretty surprised. I was surprised to see Mercedes as in it as they were.
Hmm.
And
They
it
dominated.
seemed, yeah, it seemed really like the race was theirs to lose. Interesting pit strategy, but in the end, the clash between Oscar and Lando, that was pretty exciting to see. I was kind of like, because the battle up until they came together was epic.
Hmm.
It was good racing, it was clean, and then Lando was just like, "Ooh, I'm gonna fuck this all up,"
Yeah.
and then he did. So I don't know. I've got a little bit in my notes here, but
Let's hear it.
no, I mean it started to go over the start. George, Kimi, and Alonso all really got a great start.
Yeah.
Um, Lando continued his streak of losing a position on the
Hmm.
opening lap.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean the second thing I have in here was they had some kind of a rear suspension upgrade I heard on the broadcast, and they looked quick,
Very much so.
incredibly quick.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mean, any thoughts on Mercedes and the performance of Kimi and George?
Well, I mean, Kimmy's podium came down to his start. He got past Piastri at the start to get into that third, and from there, he just maintained and held on to it from
Yeah.
that point on. At points, he was threatening Verstappen for maybe a second place along the way. When
Mm,
Verstappen came in for that second pit stop, that was a real close, like, hey, what's going to actually happen here? There could be some fireworks. Obviously, Verstappen
mm.
very, very, very minorly ekes out Kimmy there. So Kimmy very firmly cements himself as the Alien Watch Rookie of the Year at this point in time. Um,
Yeah. Okay, that's what I was gonna bring up. Is
yeah,
is his performance better than Hajar's?
his performance was way better than Hajar's. It's not like, I mean, Hajar, I think, just fell prey a little bit to I'm in a racing bull this weekend. But when you look at him compared to the other rookies, he was, I mean, he only beat his teammate. That's the only other rookie that he beat out there. So I mean, didn't have a great race, and he didn't have a fantastic one. Behrman had a good one. I mean, Bortoleto, I mean, 14th was pretty solid. And so I mean, these other rookies had a little bit better of a performance with, not as great of machinery either. So I think, yeah, Kimi took a very firm lead into who's the best rookie of the season.
I would agree with you on that.
Mm-hmm. And you said in the last podcast, hey, what I need to see out of Kimi is a podium this year. Well, damn it, he just went out and did it.
Accidentally called it. Oops.
He goes, what'd you say? Okay, fine, I'll go get that done for you now.
Yeah, I was texting with him actually, and I said, hey, listen, you know what's better than math homework? First podium. And
trophies.
Like, I got it. There we go.
Yep.
So, bringing home the hardware.
2 + 1 = what?
Hey, 2 + 1 = third place, baby.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Exactly. So, no, Mercedes, absolutely great weekend. I mean, from qualifying through the race itself, they showed that they are a true competitor. They know their plans. They know how to, fulfill a full race weekend. So that was fun to see. It was a little cheeky at the end there under the safety car, though, too, between George and Max, with the who maybe George was not being as good of a sportsman as he might claim to be with the braking under the safety car and whatnot. What'd you make of that whole situation?
Thought it was hilarious. That shit was so fucking funny to me.
Yeah.
Like, because if you read the report, which I did earlier today, basically George gives a fucking point by point dissection of every little aspect of what was going on. He's like, oh yeah, I wasn't sure if the race was going to restart or not. I was keeping temperature on my tires. I'm not responsible for knowing who's behind me. And basically just fucking eviscerates every argument that they had. And in terms of the protest.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of Max saying, oh, he's brake checking me. It was funny as fuck. I was dying. As soon as I heard that, I'm like, oh man, that is absolutely hysterical that he's complaining about that. But also hysterical if George was doing it, like intentional or not, like that just fucking rocks.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I have no issues. I mean, honestly, like if there had been more fireworks or they had smacked into each other on the last lap, that absolute cinema. Can't even complain about it. So
100%. Yeah, that's a great petty rivalry that we got going right now between Max and George. I absolutely love every second of it.
There is a meme. Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, because you've just got like George being like the most classically British, like, pettiness and passive aggressiveness behind everything that he does. And then you just have the brute of Max going like, he brake checked me. The angry guy coming at it. You just got two very different, ways to approach it, and that makes it more fun on top of it.
Yeah, no, and it's very much the English guy versus the Dutch guy in terms of how they talk to each other. It absolutely rocks. There's a meme that I just sent you that we're not going to talk about, but I need you to see.
Bro, this shit has been absolutely hilarious. I have been loving those memes for sure, because it's not just in Formula One where I've seen those. It's, Tyrese Halliburton has had some very big ones, and that'll be the little clue for you there.
Absolutely hysterical. Absolutely hysterical. Yes. The good guys. So what did you think of, I don't know, let's check my notes here so we can segue into something else.
Sure.
Albon, what the fuck was that with his pit stop strategy?
Yeah, he clearly didn't like it. What was going on out there? They were not on the same page whatsoever. And it's funny that did come up, because during practice or qualifying, I forget when it was, they asked Sainz about like Albon and his team radio communications, and he goes, you know what, I kind of like it because he complains a lot and I don't complain as much, but I look like the good guy. And then you cut to all this stuff that's going on during the race, and it's like, you know what, Albon does not, like, when I've thought about him previously, his perception as a driver has been like, he is pretty nice, like he's a team guy, like, you don't really hear much of him complaint wise and stuff. I feel like this entire season you've only seen him complain on team radio, and that's kind of been about it.
Yeah, and they've talked about having him give more abrasive feedback. Not abrasive, but more direct feedback rather than being polite. And that was something that I thought was very interesting from the beginning. But yeah, hearing him voice his frustration a little bit more, I think is good in terms of how he's handling everything. But you can't say that it's a good look. You know what I mean? Especially when the race director says, "Oh, let's hear what Alex has to say," and it's just a serious tirade about
Eviscerate.
how shit yeah. But also, like, from a strategy perspective, okay, they left him out. They were trying to do like a one-stop or something, it seemed. I don't know. It seemed a little bit bold, but leaving him out there and then calling him in, it made no sense to give up the advantage of what you had been working toward. And I don't know. It was clearly time to bring him in, but it was also like, team dropped the ball, strategy dropped the ball. It's kind of making the best out of a shit sandwich, you know?
Very much so. But on the other hand, for Williams, like, Sainz had a fantastic race day. So it's very odd that you have the two contrasting strategies there, and I mean, completely different results. But I mean, at the end of the day, Albon's power unit just kind of failed on him too. So another Mercedes issue, which is kind of interesting to see that this is how many races in a row now that one of their power units have failed on a car? 4 or 5, maybe?
I want to say 4. Yeah, I want to say 4. But if you know the answer, because we're sure as shit not looking it up, send us an email. backmarkersf1pod@gmail.com. Shoot us a quick little message. Maybe we'll address it. Maybe we won't. The only way to find out is if you send us an email. Guess how many emails we've gotten so far, Derek?
0.
Yep, that's correct. We've received 0 emails. So, listener, you're slacking. What's wrong with you? Hurry up and send us a message. Again, that email to send us a message to is backmarkersf1pod@gmail.com. Do you think I've said it enough times?
We'll do at least one more plug at some point in time in this episode, and then maybe we'll hit our quota. You know.
All right. Okay.
We'll see how it goes.
We'll wait for it just in case they skipped to the good part.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. What Albon though? Yeah, going back to him, the feedback, like you said, has been requested to be that way, and I think that's part of like James Vowles just kind of like implementing his leadership style. Like, hey, we need to get as much information out of how shit this car is this year to know what to do for next year, which is probably the impetus for him wanting to get more of that direct feedback. Like, look, he's already said it. This year's a throwaway. Whatever happens, happens. We don't care. We're all in on 2026 with the new regs. Obviously, they've had an absolutely fantastic start to the season. 5th in the constructors right now. Potentially could still hold on to that, just depending on what the teams below them end up doing. But I think that's directly from Vowles just going, we need all of this. You cannot beat around the bush. We need to know all of this stuff so we know how to prep for this next car, basically. So, and on top of that, yes, he's giving more brash feedback, but which of the top competitive drivers don't do that at the same time? You know, you need that. You absolutely need that in competition. You need direct, like, you cannot beat around the bush. We're trying to win. We're trying to get the best positions. That's what you need out of top drivers. Lewis does it. Max does it. I'm sure Schumacher did it, and Senna and all the top drivers and best drivers and championship winning drivers. So, you know, maybe it's just part of his career arc of him developing that edge to his, you know, feedback and, you know, race style, I suppose, in some sense that, you know, you're going to see better things out of Albon in the future because of this.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I hope so. I mean, I like him. I feel like everybody likes him. So.
Yeah. But I was very happy to see Carlos Sainz get some points, or 8 points, sorry, because he finished in 10th. But absolutely love that as a Sainz guy myself.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, we got the podium finishers. Max, I mean, still had a very good race. Piastri and Norris with the fireworks at the end there. What do you say we talked a little bit about the red team?
The one that won Le Mans. Yeah, they did a great job.
The one that won Le Mans, yes.
We already covered it. We can move on.
One of my favorite things that have been on the internet was how the Le Mans Ferrari teams have been getting praised for how great of strategy they run, how great their cars are. They just seem to do all the right things. And then you switch to Formula One and they go, what's going to happen next?
Yep. Yep. There was another thing that I saw that I can't find in time to send you, but that's okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, Leclerc had some more, fiery team radio stuff too, because they seemed to be off on what their strategy was or what they wanted to do. Because I remember at one point early they go, Plan B, what do you think about Plan B? And he goes, I'm thinking Plan C. And then they call him into pit, and he's like, why are we pitting? Like, that's not the feedback I gave you whatsoever. I feel like there's just honestly communication errors between them, because one of the things that like Crofty or one of the guys on the broadcast was saying was, while Leclerc might be feeling something different in the car with the tires and stuff, maybe they are seeing something more on the computers that's telling them your tires aren't really going to last that much longer, and this is a great spot for us to actually bring you in. And maybe they're just not saying that, and so it just makes everything more frustrating during the race itself.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, because on team radios, obviously you have to be very crafty because everybody can listen to whatever you're saying. So I don't know, like, how do some teams, how can they figure it out or at least know what to do? Whereas every single week with Ferrari, it's like they say something on the radio, drivers get mad, and it's like, did you not communicate beforehand? Like, we're gonna make the final call, or are you gonna make the call? Like, maybe that's all it really is they truly just aren't saying beforehand, like, this is how it's going to work, and they just need to be more clear and direct about that.
Yeah, and it kind of comes back to the Albon situation, where you can go one way or you can do one thing, and having that more direct, more confrontational type feedback is more beneficial to the team in the long run. So, I don't know. I get sad every time I think about Ferrari and their strategy choices. You hope that they're figuring things out and kind of ironing out details, and you hope that a guy like Lewis can come into the situation and improve things overall. But it's, I don't know, man.
It's pain.
My hope is gone. It's just pain.
Put the penne bullets in the mag.
Fucking pack it up. Get ready for next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
After that, we have the rest of the finishing point total, guys. Fernando, P7. What a race. Dude, yeah. Fernando he was not kidding. Just not unlucky washed. The whole start of the year. Like, I was going to be doing this whole time, but my car has just taken a shit is all that happened. Yep. Like, let's go, Fernando. This is fun. I've absolutely loved seeing that.
And I'm so excited to see him in next year's car, or whatever the regulations bring. If fucking Newey cooks up a fucking big bowl of chili and Alonso brings it home, inject that shit into my veins. Yeah, because seeing him get another win would probably be the best thing to ever happen.
I'd love to see it. All the podiums when he first went to Aston Martin were awesome, so a win would be even better.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
That might be put in the tickler file for race 1 next weekend or next year. Bet Fernando to win. Just sprinkle a little on that just to see.
Slam that shit. No, dude. Put a whole paycheck. Put a whole paycheck down. Fucking book it. It's coming home. There we go.
Well, unlike England with their football, it is not going to come home for them, but it might come home for Fernando Alonso.
Oh, absolutely. No, he's going to do it. I believe in him. If I could place that bet right now, I would.
You probably actually, I don't know. The sports books here aren't great about Formula One, so we're going to work on that with them. And also, if any of them would like to sponsor us, we will happily plug your book and use your platform for all of our Formula One betting. We make picks every week, driver head-to-heads now. We're doing it all.
We're talking exclusivity, baby. Something that isn't normally offered with us. Backmarkers, f1pod@gmail.com. If you are the executive for a gambling website or know any executives at any gambler, even if you're fucking not even C-suite, who cares? Shoot us an email. Backmarkers, f1pod@gmail.com. We'll talk to sales guys.
Let's get the conversation started. Yeah, absolutely.
Just starting the conversation. That's what matters. Opening a door.
Yes, very much so. Nico, though, also fantastic race out of him. Him and Fernando were battling again. Honestly, I think they're going to be fun to watch the whole rest of the season, or at least for the next, say, 6 races here, where they seem to be in a similar position with their cars and comfortability and just pure, veteran presence out there of knowing how to drive around a track and what the dumb rookies are going to do and how to, plan what's going to happen in front of them.
See, and what killed me with Hulkenberg was it felt like everybody was passing him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he got up into the because of the pit stops, he got up there and like 3 people passed him, and then they did the pit stops, and then like the same 3 people or 3 more people passed him, and then it was just like, Jesus, how many times can they pass this guy?
Mm-hmm.
So that was funny to see. That was something that I got a kick out of, and did not really understand it.
I see what you did there.
Pass this guy. Yeah. Oh, all right.
You got a kick out of it.
No, it's Sauber, man. Fuck. I didn't even mean to make that pun.
Well, you did anyways, and it was good. I liked it.
All right.
But no, they're going to be fun to watch. Honestly, this is what Nico did with Haas the last 2 years was, hey, this car's probably not going to be that great. Oh, shit, look at what he's doing out there. Again, I still don't understand how he hasn't gotten a podium in this damn sport. I hope to God Audi can give him a good car and he can at least stand on it once in Formula One. I just always think about him in the Drive to Survive. He was at some Microsoft store in the States, and the kids were like, how many races have you won? And he's like, I haven't. And that was years ago at this point in time, too.
I saw that clip, man. That was tough. You got to feel bad for the guy. But also, like, it's the same reason Alonso hadn't scored points up until last week. It was just like kind of shit luck.
Right. Nothing more to it than that. Like, his career, he's just been stuck in a midfield car. He's never, maybe once or twice, I guess I don't know his full career arc where he's maybe had a chance at it, but it's just like, God,
Alonso or
would
Hulkenberg?
Not happen. Hulkenberg, sorry, I was still in Hulkenberg. Obviously, Alonso's won. He's got 2 championships, so.
Yeah. No, Hulkenberg apparently was going to take the Mercedes seat next to Nico Rosberg when Schumacher retired, but Mercedes convinced Lewis Hamilton to get there instead.
Niki Lauda convinced Lewis Hamilton to get there instead, and what a brilliant choice by them, too.
Yeah. No, and people at the time were like, oh, shit, what is he doing? Is he going to piss away his whole career? And look at what it turned into. So.
Very much not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. If you did have Niki Lauda on your project, that's probably a pretty good sign that you're going to have a decent car.
Yeah,
in hindsight.
So
well, not even hindsight, because even up till then.
How much do you know about Niki Lauda?
I've seen Rush.
Okay, that's good homework.
I know very probably baseline. I don't know a ton about him though.
Fucking awesome dude. Mm-hmm. Super fascinating life. Quick little detour. He as like part of his post Formula One career launched an airline called Lauda Air, right? Because
really?
Seriously, commercial airline. And there was a crash. And it was something that he took very seriously, very personally. He went to the site of the crash and led his company's own internal investigation with the FAA and was very hands-on with that.
Wow.
He took that very seriously. He's all around good dude. I think he was part of the reason that the GDPA still exists. Or GPDA, whatever, Grand Prix Drivers Association, in terms of improving safety and improving safety measurements across the board. And Niki Lauda is an all-around good human being. And the world is worse off that he's not here, even though he was old. But he won. He lived long enough. Not long. Let's just move on.
He had a good life.
He had a good life. Yeah, he did it well. But
very much miss him dearly still.
Yeah.
There we go.
Dude. I was sad as fuck when Niki died a couple of years ago. So shout out to him.
Very much an awesome dude. Again, I didn't know a ton about him, but from the little I did know, I'm like, this dude seems legit. So that's cool.
Yeah, definitely.
I sounded way too Gen Z there for that, and I'm sorry because I'm not a Gen Zer, and that was just embarrassing.
I don't know. There worse things could be.
Oh, well, that actually just reminded me of the
We're
Vine.
right on the
He's
cusp.
so legitness. Remember that one?
Oh, dude. No, but we're right on the cusp of Gen Z and millennial.
We are like the very end of millennials.
Yeah.
Like everything that I've seen is like
don't fit in
96.
either camp. Don't fit in either camp.
Right. Like a back and forth between the two. We'll see we'll take the good with the bad on both of them. Yeah.
Definitely.
But Esty Bestie ended up getting some points as well. Good for him and Haas. Dude, they left him out there for forever. That was absolutely wild. They're just like, yeah, fuck it, just keep driving. We'll see what happens. And it worked out for him. He ended up getting some points. So they've been missing those and definitely wanting some. And Behrman was very close behind him too, finishing in 11th here in the race. So just missing out behind Sainz there on the points total. Obviously, all the time breaks were much closer because of the safety car at the end. But good race out of him. Yuki had another tough one out there this weekend, didn't he?
Did he though? Because it was kind of the penalty that he got that he had to deal with. Like all things considered, because didn't he start like 17th or 18th because of the penalty?
I'm not gonna lie, I lost track of all the penalties this weekend.
Yeah, so he had a. What the fuck did my cat just do? I hope that picked up on the microphone because it was just a boom.
No, didn't hear it.
Well, now I seem like a crackhead.
Knocking some shit over.
And now some chaos was caused by the boy. Yeah, now he's running away, the fucker.
Love it.
So no, he had a penalty and had to start from behind, and like, I don't know. I think that if he didn't have the penalty, he could have been closer up there and fighting maybe with the Ferraris. He didn't have a bad race weekend. He had a bad weekend. He didn't have a bad race, all things considered. So let's hope he's figuring out the car and hope that he can really show his true colors later in the season.
I mean, but like Behrman passed him in a Haas. I don't know. I just feel like the inevitable is going to happen with him, which is unfortunate and maybe fortunate at the same time. Again, we've gone back and forth about the pros and cons of the second Red Bull seat, but I really feel like if he really does want to stay there, he's got to kind of show some more growth. I feel like he's taken some more steps back over the last couple of race weekends. Minor steps at that. It's not like it's anything crazy. I feel like his average finishing position with the Red Bull has been what, like 10th or so? So I mean, being in 12th, he's not that far off of it still, but I don't know. Like if you want to see him succeed with Red Bull still, I feel like you're probably shaking in your boots a little bit, just going like, I think he's got to do something soon here to really start getting forward progress rather than trending backwards a little bit.
Yeah, I do not want to see him with Red Bull. I want to see him have success, not with Red Bull. There we go.
Fair enough. Fair enough. This brings us to some of our other rookies, though. Colapinto and then Bortoleto, 13th, 14th. I feel like Colapinto had a decent race here. Again, I don't know that it's much better than what Doohan's done in the car before, so we'll see what happens in that second Alpine seat here. Bortoleto, I was happy with how he performed, I would say. Obviously, he's not getting the same out of the car as Nico, but again, you're a rookie. We know this car is shit. Wait till next year. That'll be your evaluation year. What a great spot for him to be in, by the way. I don't feel like we've talked enough about 100%.
That. No,
that's
absolutely.
like the dream as an F1 rookie, just being in we know we're terrible. We're not expecting anything out of you. As long as you aren't Nikita Mazepin and literally wreck every single week, we'll be fine. As that was the same situation he was in when he first joined Haas. But yeah, shouts out to him. Decent weekend here.
Did we cover the McLaren situation? I feel like we didn't talk
fully.
about it.
I guess we didn't fully get into it. We kept getting distracted by other things. So yeah, because the rest of the order, I mean, Pierre, rough weekend. Hajar, we talked about him a little bit. Stroll, well, he raced. That was cool.
He raced, and props to him for racing. I was texting with him, and I was like, "Hey, good job getting out there."
Yeah, you made Canada proud. You raced, you finished.
That he did.
Hey, okay.
Better than Lando.
This is one thing we actually need to talk about. So Kimi joined the class of only the third teenager ever to finish on an F1 podium.
Yeah.
Do you know who the other two teenagers are? And Lance.
Yeah.
Wow, I knew he finished the podium.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was a teenager when he did it, though. Talk about like a hot flash in the pan right there. Like, dude, we got something in this Williams and all this other, like, oh man.
Lance is legit, bro. Lance is legit.
I didn't know he was that young when he got his podium. I was like, holy shit. I saw that graphic this week and I'm like, one of these things is not like the others right now.
Yeah. No, the other one that I saw that was a graphic, Kubica winning the 24 Hours of Le Mans and George Russell winning Canada means that the 2019 Williams team went fucking 2 for 2 this weekend, which was the worst car in the history of the sport. Or not the worst car in the history of the sport, but worst car in recent memory for sure.
That's a damn close one to worst car, though. Yeah, that one was terrible. But yeah, shout out to them because, yeah. You know what? Robert Kubica, that's just so unfortunate what happened to him. That's like a very much what could have. Well, is it a what could have been, though? Because now he's a 24-hour Le Mans champion.
No, so he was on to sign for Ferrari.
For Ferrari, yeah.
Yeah, so he was going to race for Ferrari, and then the accident happened in rallying, and kind of fucked his whole life up, you know? So it was awesome that he was able to come back and race and, like, following that story real time. I think he got a point that year, which was huge, that he was able to get a point. But yeah, awesome story. I feel like we've talked enough about him, but we didn't discuss the Papaya rules situation.
Yeah, let's actually get into that.
We're getting so sidetracked.
Yes.
Do you think that Oscar did anything wrong?
No.
So it was all Lando's fault, basically.
Yeah.
And he admitted as much over the radio.
Yeah, right away. Yeah, he was like, I messed up. That was dumb. That was stupid. Like, immediately. And then even in the post-race driver interviews, the second he saw Oscar, he went over and was like, dude, that was my fault. I'm sorry. Like, obviously, it didn't really affect Oscar's race at the end of the day. He still just finished in 4th anyways. But, yeah, there was nothing that Oscar did wrong there. But up until that point, Lando was fucking quick out there. He was driving faster than Oscar up to the end there. He was. If you saw his time in telemetries and stuff, he had a faster pace. He was gaining more on Oscar than Oscar was off of Kimi there. And I think he should have gotten around Oscar and definitely, fought for 3rd place in that race at the end of the day. But watching that replay of him going for the gap that truly was not there was tough to see, honestly.
And it was insane to think about because, like, there was so much space on the right-hand side, it's one of those questions. And there was more coaching from his engineer earlier in the lap, basically kind of holding his hand through strategy and everything. And we think about, Lewis overtaking him with the DRS in the same spot 3 laps in a row. It's like, come on, dude. It's like, you're quick, you're talented, but are you like that guy? I don't think he's with it, man. So are you ready to officially give up on your quest that Lando's going to win the Drivers' Championship?
No, I firmly stated that it's going to be after the Silverstone. So we're getting very close to that point, but I'm ready to get off this train because I'm sick of just trying to, it's clearly not going to happen. It just isn't going to happen.
But also in terms of the rest of the championship picture, with George's result, with the upgrade in Mercedes looking a little bit quicker, we talked about it at the beginning of the season, but also at the beginning of our recorded talks about this.
Yep.
Do you think that George could sneaky come in there and get the championship? Or the championship, in my view, is still wide open at this point.
Okay.
There's still Max hanging in there. There's still George with an outside shot. And then, like I've said, Oscar is definitely my favorite.
Yeah. I mean, could George get it?
George is less likely than Max, but them taking away points from the McLarens is the most important thing.
Oh, you mean for the constructors? Or do you mean
No. The
driver right now?
constructors is absolutely going to be McLaren all day.
Oh, it's not even close. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I would still put Lando way ahead of George in terms of contention for it. Lando has 20 points on Max at the moment. Granted, he's also 20 points behind Oscar, and that can, as we have seen, change in an instant at any point of these races at the moment. But no, George very much I think is still in a far outside chance. Like he's on the in terms of like a Heisman race, like he's entered it. He ain't getting that shit though. Like it's very clear. Like he's just got invited to New York for the ceremony. Like he's not actually gonna
for sure
have a chance at it. But I guess yeah, he's in the picture with the win. The win without that, I don't think that's ever gonna happen.
But say he strings 2 more wins together and the McLarens have a double DNF.
Yeah, I mean it's possible, like we've said, but I don't see that happening.
I don't know. I think the championship race in terms of the rest of the order is more open than we think. I don't think that Lando is that guy, as we've kind of talked about.
Yeah.
But I think Oscar is going to do it, to be clear. Just from the perspective of we haven't even hit the summer break yet.
We've had 4 race winners now.
Game's not over.
You're not wrong. No, it's the most competitive it has been in a long while. That's for sure. It's not a 1-2 or just a solo. This guy's going to win, and that's it. It is still very much open. I don't see how Oscar doesn't win it. I feel like Lando's still going to get into a spot where he's going to win a handful more races just because he's still in the McLaren, and there's going to be some tracks coming up where, like, if he does just get a podium or a pole position on qualifying, like, should
and
just
then
go
lose
home and win
3
that.
places on the first lap.
Well, we shall see. But no, George, I mean, do one of the Ferraris win a race this year?
God,
I feel like they have to at some point in time here.
God, I hope so.
Maybe Monza. Maybe that's the best opportunity.
Because they always turn it up for Monza. They always have a fresh engine. They always pull out all the stops. All right, we'll see.
Yes.
But man, it would be so sweet to see Lewis get a win.
Right.
Ferrari at Monza. Oh my God, I'd lose my fucking mind.
That'd be awesome. Right. That'd be super cool. But going back to the McLaren incident here, again, Lando was quicker up until that point of just again just a dumb brain lapse of like that's not the spot to go to. Did you see it as anything other than that then or no?
No, just purely. I don't want to say a skill issue because he clearly has the skill. He's clearly a very talented driver, but it's a strategy issue.
It's the mental side of the race.
He just doesn't have it. He's just not there. He's zoned out for whatever reason. He can't string it together. And I think he's in his own head about it.
You know? Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
I saw a tweet after the race that basically said like Oscar's quicker in qualifying. Oscar has a better start. Oscar has good race pace during the race and is better on the strategy. Lando is generally faster during the race. So basically you have a faster but dumber driver racing against the very competent but smarter driver. Essentially is how this person boiled it down to. And I'm like, it's not a terrible thing to say. It's not like Lando's dumb. But yeah, you just keep seeing little things that turn out to be like a big effect on your race at the end of the day. Just continuously happen for him, where Oscar is continuously finding spots where, he just surprised that guy there. Like you don't pass there, but he's figured that part of it out, and he knows when to take his chances and execute on it right away.
But also, he's still getting better.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He's still improving. He's in year 3 at this point, or year 2 at this point. You know, so
3.
Yeah, he's in year 3.
No,
he's shown
2.
Yeah. You were fucking gaslighting me there.
I forgot because he was signed to Alpine, and then he was like, "No, I'm not. No. I ain't gonna go there."
Thank God he got the fuck away from that chaos. Yeah.
Shout out to Zach Brown for figuring that whole thing out too.
Shout out to Mark Webber.
That too.
For figuring that shit out.
Aussies helping Aussies, just good blokes.
Yeah, I was going to say a different word, but there we go. Moving on.
Yes.
Was there anything else that you or me or we needed to cover here?
Let's go. I'll go over the results for us real quick from our
Yeah.
picks and then
Yeah.
our inaugural week of our new
Before
fantasy F1 league.
before we do that,
Yes.
as we build a little hype, do you think Oscar could have gotten Antonelli for third?
No.
No, you don't think so? I mean, if
No.
the incident doesn't happen, his car
No
is
chance.
undamaged. No chance?
No, I up until the incident, I felt that Lando still had a better chance at getting to that. Granted, it got very minimal because he couldn't get around Piastri because he just couldn't. Again,
But
we
they were,
talked about
but
this
they were
crafting
right
stuff,
there with
but
each other. You know what I mean? They were fighting each other, and that's why the McLarens got slowed up. If it was
not
just
really. Because
a
it
little,
happened where like Lando got to within DRS range before Piastri had gotten into DRS range on Kimi at the end of the race there. Again, they kept showing it throughout that like Lando's quicker, Lando's gaining on Piastri. Like Lando has a better, they were saying it, Lando has a better chance at a podium here than Piastri does at the moment, just with the way the race had broken down for them in terms of tires and all that other stuff, the strategy throughout the race. Again, it just came down to Lando got there, couldn't get around him, couldn't get around him, couldn't get around him. Okay, next lap he'll have to try. Okay, next lap he'll have to try. Okay, wow, holy shit, he shocked Piastri there, but then Piastri was able to continue out. Okay, Lando's gonna try here, and he crashed. But there was also like what 5, 6-ish laps left in the race at
yeah.
that point in time too.
I
So
think
the opportunity for them to get onto the podium was getting very slim by that point in time. But
I think
I
Oscar
still
could have
think
done
if Lando doesn't crash, he has the better chance than Oscar in that race.
it. Better chance, but I still think Oscar could have done it. You know, Lando had to get around Oscar, and Lando couldn't get around Oscar. But also,
But Oscar also couldn't
I
get around
think
Kimi, nor was he close to getting around Kimi.
he would have been closer had the fighting not between Lando and him not been slowing him up, and he still managed to get into DRS. So I think it would have been close. It would have been like a photo finish type deal, but I think he might have had a chance to get him. So
Okay,
we'll see.
fair enough. One of those
Yeah,
butterfly effects, like what could have been, but it
yeah.
was fun. It was fun either way. I very much enjoyed it. And again, it wasn't that I think that's the nice part about their rivalry at the moment is yes, it kind of manifested itself as it's not a matter of if but when. But at the same time, like both him and Oscar, Lando and Oscar have talked about how yes, there is the rivalry, but like we're not trying to bring it outside of the racetrack, and you still got to see that at the end of the day, which is kind of cool. It's not like the Lewis and Nico rivalry, where it was they very much hate each other and were like, I just want to beat him more so than anything. There still seems to be at the moment that general level of we're teammates, we're still winning at the end of the day. Oscar probably just feels like, well, I still finished, so I don't really care. Like you're the one who keeps messing up, not me. That might be part of it too, but anyways, so our picks for the weekend. We'll go over the picks first, and then we'll go into the league results. I had the better weekend for once. I went 2-1 to your 1-2. That puts you at 16-10 overall in the year, which is still insanely impressive. That gets me up to 7-19 on the season. So, where we were both right, we both said under 5 seconds for the race win. That
Because
was
we
a
finished
given
under a
after the
safety car.
safety car, but Max was also still there with George at the end of the race. So I think we were hitting that no matter what, which was nice.
Yeah.
Um, the difference for us came down to classified finishers. You just had the over, I had the under. You looked very good on the over there for quite a while.
Until Lando did it.
Not even that, because he technically finished classified in the
He
race.
did?
It was Lawson getting told to retire the car is what ended up doing it for us here. So
Yeah, they
Albon,
knew about my pick.
yep,
Why they did it.
exactly. They were targeting you. I threw a little money towards the Racing Bulls there. I was like, Liam, it doesn't matter. Just tell him to get out of here.
There we go. And gambling, sports books, people that are
Mhm.
listening to this, we are not afraid to pull a Tim Donaghy and make a phone call to Scott Foster to make some shit happen. So it's not beneath us.
Well, it might already be happening, according to some. Have you seen this conspiracy going around online?
Which one?
About how the FIA favors British drivers over other drivers?
We've always known that.
Because they didn't give Lando a penalty point for the for the wreck.
How do you not give somebody a penalty point for that?
They just didn't give him one. So yeah, that's been. I think the P1 podcast guys brought it up is where I first saw it. They were like, "Is there a bias? Like, do they just favor British drivers because Lando didn't get a penalty point, and that was clearly a penalty point, and or everybody else gets one as long as you don't fly under the Union Jack." Like,
yeah. No,
which is interesting to me because the FIA is French, so it's feel like if you would go one way, you think they'd try to, give the Brits as many points as possible, given history. But
I mean, how many French drivers do they have?
2 at the moment. 3. No, 3 actually out there. 4 if Doohan's actually driving. Jesus, they've got a lot of drivers out there right now.
Doohan's Australian.
Wait. Wait, hold on. It's Gasly, Ocon, Hadjar. I thought there was one other French driver.
Are you considering Leclerc as a citizen of the Principality of Monaco French?
Oh, that's an independent country.
With an asterisk.
There's no asterisk. It's an independent country.
It's tiny.
Okay. The Vatican is tiny and Andorra is tiny, but they're still countries.
We call it Vatican City.
Rhode Island is a state.
That's barely. Tiny. It's literally one exit. Fuck off, Rhode Island. Also, has the longest name, because the official name is the State of Rhode Island at Providence Plantations.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, smallest state in the Union, longest name in the Union.
I love that for them. Hey, gotta claim something big, It's like a jacked up truck.
Claiming it's big. Okay, yes. Let's move on.
So yeah, I just associated one of the Alpine drivers. They're on the French team. They're French, and they've had a double French driver the last couple of years. So, yep, my fault. Yep, hand up. That's on me.
Mea culpa.
Mea culpa. Yes. So,
here we go.
So yeah, 2-1 in the picks for me. 1 and 2 this for you this past weekend. But then our inaugural fantasy league.
Yeah, how the hell did that go? Because I was not sure.
You had all of the big things, and I was just very consistent. So we'll go top down for you. You had Verstappen over Tsunoda, the obvious 1-1 pick every weekend here for us. 10 points for that.
Okay.
Then you had Alonso over Stroll.
Yeah.
Another 10 points for that one. Then this where it got a little off the rails for you. You had Albon over Sainz. So Albon DNF.
Upside down on that.
Yeah. So -11 on that one. But then you get Piastri over Norris.
Yeah.
14-point gap on that one.
Yeah.
And then you had Hamilton over Leclerc, but you only lost a single point. So you ended up with 22 points for the weekend on that. Okay. Mine were a little bit more kind of in line with each other. So my Hadjar over Lawson only yielded to me 5 points. Hulkenberg over Bortoletto yielded me 6. I had Gasly over Galopinto, which was -2. Russell over Antonelli, which was 2 points, and then Ocon over Behrman, which was 2 points. So I ended up with 13 on the weekend after that. You had all the big swings, and I had the more just like consistent ones at that there. Okay. So yeah, you will get to pick first again for our next race weekend. When is that, by the way? Is that coming up again?
I think
no, we have a week off.
Yeah, we got a week off. We have
a couple weeks off actually.
Don't we?
I think. Let's see. Austria 27th, 29th. Oh, I'm sorry. That's 2 weekends. Yes.
Yeah.
God, the Spielberg Ring is awesome. I love Austria.
Dude, Austria is perfect. Austria is incredible. The Red Bull Ring.
Great racetrack.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorites. That is one of my favorites in the year. But yeah, so you'll get to pick first next time, and let's not get lost in the snake next time.
Oh my God, yeah. That's
right away we messed it up.
Immediately, as soon as we start, we fuck it up.
So. Yep. So we'll do better on that next time here for you. But other than that, yeah, I mean, another great race weekend in Canada. We absolutely love Canada for that. Always have great races. Montreal just seems cool as well. I've yet to...
Oh, you cut out. You cut out. You totally froze. I lost you. Oh no. This is devastating. Is this the end of the Backmarkers podcast? Is that how we go out? Damn. That's devastating. He's done. He's frozen. Maybe I'm frozen on his end. I don't know what's going to actually save out of this recording. Hopefully the whole thing. But yeah, he's got a 1,000-yard stare right now. So I'm going to try and bring it home. Yeah, don't really know how to do this. He's normally responsible for closing the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to the Backmarkers F1 podcast. It was yep, it's done. Is he coming back? Is he gone? You've got. I forgot how I was going to close it. So, he just texted me that he's got it all. He's back.
Are you in?
Oh, there we go.
Got me?
Yeah.
That dude, I got all of that.
Oh, that was beautiful. I was hoping did.
I hope that picks up in the recording because I heard everything that you said there, and I was like, can you really not hear me? I was waving. I pulled up my phone. I'm like, I'm gonna text you, like all that stuff.
Yeah, no, you had a 1,000-yard stare.
I was dead frozen.
Absolutely done. We're going to Montreal next year, right?
I'd love to.
We
absolutely love to. The only problem with that now is it's Memorial Day weekend. And, well, that's not a problem. It's good because we have an extra day. But I've apparently made it a habit of going to the Indy 500 2 years in a row now. So
fuck that.
Canada it is. I'd be down to go. I'd love to go to Montreal. I've really heard good things about it.
And that was the reason that I couldn't close the show when it was frozen, was because I was waiting for you to finish talking for us to say we're fucking going to Montreal.
We'll have to.
So, yeah, we absolutely have to make that happen.
Let's get some merch in line for that, though, so we can be swaggered out when we go to a race and people can be like, oh, who are those cool guys? And we can go, hey, we got a podcast. You should tune in.
We need a listener before we develop merch.
We have listeners.
Few, all right, none of them have emailed the program. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want us to make a t-shirt or a hat, backmarkersf1pod@gmail.com. Otherwise, I'm not letting him fucking do it. Well, he can do whatever he wants because he's in charge of the fucking business operation or whatever. But I won't be wearing it unless we have at least one email. You have a year to send us an email, motherfuckers.
From what, now? Or from the start of the show? From now.
A year
June
from
16th,
now.
Next year.
We've got to have but we've got to do it in time to have hat, shirt combo, whatever swag.
Mm-hmm.
We got to have it before we go to the race. So you've got probably 10 months to send us an email.
Than when we're recording.
Yeah. I'm doing math.
There we go. I like it. But yeah, great race weekend. Looking forward to Austria. Spielbergring is great. Le Mans was cool. We talked IndyCar. I have no idea what happened in Mexico City with NASCAR. Let me do a quick. I know Daniel Suarez won the Xfinity Series, so cool. Hometown guy won a race there. Quick prediction as I'm pulling up. Who do you think won the race this weekend in NASCAR?
You're making me name a NASCAR driver.
Sure am. Oh! Yep, because it was a race circuit. I forgot about that. Shane Van Gisbergen brought it home.
Oh, hell yeah. Of course
he brought it home. So that's pretty cool. Christopher Bell second. Chase Elliott third. Bowman fourth. Wow, good race weekend for those guys. They've been struggling this year for Hendrick. So, I ended up finishing the what you would call it? The NASCAR to Le Mans docuseries. That was awesome. That was awesome. So they ended up. Can I spoil a little bit for you?
Go for it.
All right. So they ended up before our last podcast, I had gotten to just as the race was going to be starting. So all I had left to watch was what happened during the race. So Jimmy Johnson gets out there to drive. They put everybody out early, short stints, because they're like, we want to make sure all the drivers get a chance in the car at the actual race. It's 24-hour race, endurance. We don't know how this car is going to do. We're, prototype entry, yada, yada, yada. So everybody gets to drive. Obviously, the car finishes from history. But they put Johnson out for his second stint, and they're like, he's never driven in the rain. He has no nighttime driving experience. Let's put him out when it's gonna it's starting to get dark and the forecast looks good right now. They get him out there, it's pitch black and it's pouring rain. Like, it's just like an absolute worst case. And he's like, I've never done any of this before. And at different points of time, they're on the radio. They're like, dude, you're the fastest car out there right now. Like, you're crushing it. Keep going. Like, you're killing it right now. So that was cool. And then they let him finish under the checkered flag. So that was pretty cool to see too. So that was a fun documentary. I would definitely recommend tuning in to watch that. It was a good one.
That's awesome. Now, do you think they should bring more NASCAR to Le Mans?
I think that would be kind of cool. Yeah. But I think the problem with it is if it's not going to have the specs that they put on the G56 car, well, even if they do have all the specs on that they have for the G56 car, I don't even know what class you would put it in because it was too fast for the GT3s, not anywhere close to the LMP2 speeds. Well, kind of close depending on, crashes and whatnot, but it would need its own specification, I think, in terms of racing out there. So, while it would be fun, I just don't think it's something that they would ever do.
Good to know.
But it'd be cool. It would be very cool. Yeah. I would tune in a lot more, that's for sure.
There we go.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else, or
I think that wraps it up.
There we go. So are we splicing in the freeze there, or are we taking that out, or what are we doing?
I'm going to see what recorded, and then we'll see what happens.
Okay, there we go. Well, can I go for redemption because I couldn't bring it home?
Bring it on home. Let's see it.
All right, Robert. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. What is that, Robert? Who is Robert?
Kubica. Bring it home.
Oh, okay.
Bring
it
to the checker.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to the Backwards F1 podcast. It's been always fun talking with my buddy Derek, and we will see you next time.
See you next time.